How's it going, everyone? The Trout91 here, back for a commentary. This is a commentary of Hardpoint on Studio, which is the remake of Firing Range. And I bet a lot of you are wondering, Trout, how have you got this gameplay so damn early? Well, on Sunday, I went to an event in London for the Black Ops 2 Uprising map pack, in which we got to record some early footage with a select group of YouTubers. It was really good fun, had a great time, met some lovely people that I love to see from time to time, and I got this pretty cool gameplay. So it is a double swarm. I never ever run the swarm for two reasons. One, because it's just like, I don't do the whole gameplay commentary thing that often, and when I do, I don't see much point in running swarm and all that. And the fact that I don't have any tokens to unlock swarm, so I can't actually use it even if I wanted to. But still, I thought I'd put swarm on. Managed to get a double swarm, and I actually made 3 people rage quit. 2 of them left the game completely. 1 of them put the controller down and walked away. And yeah, it was not trying to brag or anything like that, but it was fun. I had a good laugh, good chuckle to myself when I did it. So yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about the map packs as a whole, and then I'm going to talk about potential maps, especially potential remake maps later on in the possible future DLCs. So I think we'll start with Magma. Magma, it's an interesting map. It reminds me a lot of the COD 4 maps, where there wasn't a real flow to it. There was a lot of obstacles in the way, there was lots of buildings, different directions. That's one thing that COD 4 maps had, was these little alleyways that you could go in and out of to get from one point of the map to another, and there's lots of different routes you can take. There's no real flow to it, whereas most maps in Call of Duty these days have a very set flow to them, and that's what it reminded me of. But unfortunately, because of the whole competitive thing that I've started getting into, I think about maps very objectively rather than, how nice they look or how entertaining I find them from a casual point of view. I don't see it working too well with Hardpoint, especially because of the Magma. I don't see Capture the Flag working too well either, probably because of the Magma. The fact that there's a lot of objects in the way that kind of break up the flow of the game, so there's no real good routes to run the flags. And for those chasing someone, it can be very difficult to track them down. I think for Search and Destroy it would make a good map, because simply put, Search and Destroy is all about stop-start, slow kind of gameplay and patience, which is what a map like Magma excels in. So it's probably my least favorite map of the map pack, but that's not to say that it's not a terrible map. It's just caters to those who have a different kind of preference in maps, I suppose. Then we've got Encore, which I like that map. I like the idea of it. It's very open. I think Hardpoint is a difficult one for that one, because there's no real anchor positions. It all kind of just goes in a very plain circle, and the hardpoints don't spawn very far from each other. There's a huge back area of the map where you overlook, I assume it's the Thames, because it's set in London, where you can see the London Eye and all sorts. There's a huge part of that map that's not even utilized for an extra hardpoint. I think they could have put an extra hardpoint in there as well. And the only real good hardpoint is the center stage. And you'd think that it's very open to be killable to those standing on it, but the fact that there's an under part of the stage where you can hide, and there is quite a bit of cover on that stage as well, and there's a nice little perch at the top of the stage which you can get onto. It's not actually that bad, and the fact you can't look over the rafters, which I think was a mistake. I would have liked to have been able to see over those rafters and take some out, because then the direction of the enemies trying to contest it becomes very predictable, and it can be quite easy to lock down, even if you don't think that way from its first look. And I think it could have been done better for Hardpoint, that map. Although I do enjoy a good Hardpoint on it, it could have been done better. I think Capture the Flag could be successful on it. It's very open, however, I think it might be a bit too small. And the thing about Capture the Flag is you want some nice good runs, rather than some short ones that don't really go anywhere. Don't really have any kind of, like, panic mode, if you know what I mean, when trying to get the flag back. Search and Destroy played out very well for that map as well. It's very basic, you know, you've got your straight to the point gunfights, which is also nice to have in Search and Destroy. You know, to change things up a bit. You got those Search and Destroy maps that are very patience orientated, that are very stop-starty, and then you've got those ones that are just to the point and just epically big clashes. So I think Encore could be good for at least 2 game modes, that being Search and Destroy and Hardpoint. Then we've got Vertigo, which I think they oversold that map a lot, because they were like, oh, you can jump out of windows and onto ladders, and there's only real one opportunity to do that, and it doesn't really give you much of an advantage, if I'm honest with you. So I think they massively oversold that. I didn't like it for Hardpoint. I think the map is too symmetrical for Hardpoint, if that makes sense. It's very much the Hardpoints are all the same, and they're very open. The only one that makes a difference is inside the middle building, and that can be incredibly easy to lock down if you get it right. And since there's doors that open and close, it also makes things very difficult if you're playing on a competitive level. Search and Destroy, I don't think the map is diverse enough for Search and Destroy. There's not enough going on in it. And I think for Capture the Flag, it's probably an amazingly good one because of that symmetrical-esque thing. It plays out a lot like Raid. Obviously, it's going to be different when you look at it, but the basic premise of it plays a lot like Raid. So I think for a Capture the Flag map, you've got that. Studio, we all know that it's the Firing Range remake. We've got that very well-known sense of competition for it from Black Ops 1. It played out well for Search and Destroy, played out well for Capture the Flag, played out well for Domination, Demolition, and it plays out pretty well for Hardpoint. I think they could have done more with it by putting a hardpoint at the bottom wood, which is where the city or the green screens are. I think that's what they used to call it back in Black Ops 1 as a call-out, was bottom wood. So this map is perfect. Could have done a little bit more with Hardpoint in my opinion. And one last thing before I go is, I think they should add, if they're going to remake maps, I think they should look at Cracked, Havana, and Summit. They're all good maps. Summit mostly because it's close quarters. I think Havana's got good Capture the Flag and Search and Destroy potential, which is what they were both used for. And you've got Cracked, which I think would make for some epic Hardpoint games if you just think about all the diverse parts of that map. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the commentary. I'll see you later. Peace out.